watching Sunday Sound Off with Mick Shaffer.
All right, thanks for staying up late with us. Sunday Sound Off rolls along with our panel, so let's meet them now. Seren Petrov, Sports Radio 810, there he is. How'd you enjoy your bye week, Seren?
You know, strangely, it was a lot like my non-bye weeks, watching a lot of football, you know, maybe a little Formula One race mixed in, but seemed eerily similar to what I usually do.
The same. You're just consistent. You're regular. That's Seren right there. Steve Walls, host of the W on 100.1 FM. How'd you enjoy your bye week, Steve?
I got to sleep in. You know, yeah, don't get to do that often. So today was got to wake up at about 9 a.m. So it was good.
Love it. And last but not least, new Ruse head basketball coach Marvin Menzies. There's no bye weeks for coaches, right? What are we talking about here?
Bye week. I'm sitting over here like, what'd you purchase? I got no clue what you guys were talking about right now.
The players get the bye weeks off. The coaches never do that. Well, thanks for coming in, Coach, and you others as well. Let's get to it here. Question number one: what will the Chiefs' final record be? It's 5-2 right now. Coming up after the ball, you just chalk up the next one, right? Because it's Andy Reid coming off a bye. He always wins that. Seren, though, it's got to add up to 17. That's all we ask here for you. What's that final record going to be?
Mick, I don't see another loss anywhere on the Chiefs' schedule. Right?
No way.
How could they possibly lose any of these games?
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. No, listen, I do think they're probably going to be favored in every one of these games. I think Tennessee could be a little tricky. I know the bye week is usually Andy's thing, but I think the Titans, Mike Vrabel's, and
they look pretty good.
Yeah, they look good, and he just knows how to game plan. I mean, he's got a lot of Belichick in him, but I think they get that one. I think the toughest ones are the road games in the division, and I know Denver hadn't been that good, but those rivalry games are the difficult ones. They've got to play all the road games, including the Raiders, at the Chargers. I think those will be tough. At the Bengals as well. Figure 3 games that maybe could go either way, one that maybe stings them. They go 500 in those games. Give me them coming home 13-4 overall, which is still probably 2 games behind the Buffalo Bills.
Not good enough to get that 1 seed. Steve, do you see them making a run, maybe getting close to that number 1 seed?
You know what? I think they may make a run. You know, as Seren said, they're going to have a little trouble stopping the run, right? When you look at Tennessee, who they face this week. But you know what? Going down the stretch, I think Denver may give them a problem. They still have to play Denver twice again against the Raiders. So I think they could make a run at the number 1 seed. But we'll just have to see what Buffalo does, and also Cincinnati. Now Patrick Mahomes hasn't beaten Cincinnati in his short-lived tenure yet. But I think they may make a run at the 1 seed.
The Denver Broncos? That's your the Denver Broncos?
Denver Broncos may beat them. They have to pay them twice.
You slept in, so you missed that thrilling win over the Jags. Maybe non-convincing win over the Jags today. All right, Marvin, have you gotten into the Chiefs fandom yet, being here in KC?
Just a little bit. You know, I was a Raider hater my whole life, so I was a Chiefs fan on the way up anyway by default. But yeah, no, I glimpsed at the schedule and kind of now that we're here trying to figure out if we can slide in a home game. But I only really think that there's one. They might lose one between. I'm going to say maybe the Charger game.
Be a tough one.
You know, I just think they're much better than even they play early on. So I'm looking at maybe going 14-3.
Okay.
And I'm a fan, so maybe I'm a little jaded. I don't have all the info like these other guys.
No, that's good. We have all the info and we still get it wrong. Okay, Coach. And it's so weird hearing 14-3. I'm so used to the 16-game schedule still. 14-2. Hey, you have Mahomes' cousin on your team. You got to get him out to some of your home games.
Oh yeah, trust me. I've already hit him a couple times. Hey, got an extra one next time?
We can see anywhere where he wants. All right, guys, question number 2 here. What do you think of the Royals' hiring of Matt Quatraro? Steve, it seemed like he was the leading candidate, it seemed like all along.
I think so. Yeah. What needs to happen is, look, he's going to have to get a hold of that locker room, so to speak, or make the team love him. And I know loving a guy doesn't equate to wins, right? But he's going to have to get to the young guys and say, hey, I'm here, I'm trying to turn things around. But there's going to be low expectations for him up front. And I think, coming out the gate, the fans are going to have to love him as well. So I think as time goes on, we'll see how he does.
Yeah, no, he's not taking over the Dodgers. The expectations will be lower here in Kansas City. Marvin, what's it like taking over a new team, new organization? You've done it a few times.
Yeah, I think we're right on target there with creating the love and the relationships, but it's the professional level, right? So I think the way that you do that is just be real candid, transparent. You got to get in there, have a lot of one-on-ones, a lot of meetings. The true love is going to take some time, like any relationship, but I think transparency and just getting in and being crystal clear about your vision and understanding the guys that you're dealing with is going to be the biggest challenge in at least the early weeks.
That's what you talked about in your press conference, that just kids want to know the truth. Players want to know the truth, even the hard truths, right?
Absolutely. I mean, you're looking at, I know the Royals are one of the younger teams in the league, and so these guys are still trying to figure out. I mean, they're 26, 27 years old. They're not fully developed, and they are physically, but there's still a lot of moving parts with them, a lot of distractions with the media and the fans and so forth. So having a stable voice that can just come in and be an advocate and be someone that's supportive, but also keeping it real, as the kids say, I think will go a long way with the club.
All right, Seren, once we learn how to say his name, Quattraro, good luck saying that 4 hours a day the next week or so. Will he be a good hire?
Yeah, Coach Q.
Coach Q, there we go. I like it.
We'll go Matty Q, something like that. Listen, on paper, it's a good hire, right? But, Quinn Snyder was a good hire for Missouri. Scott Pioli was a good hire for the Chiefs. You can make good hires. They can make sense. The resume can look good, and they can be a good hire, and then they don't work, right? So now we're going to find out if it works. I think this was the top guy on a lot of people's list. Experience with the Rays, experience with the Guardians, small market teams that are doing it a new way, doing it a John Sherman way, and that's one of the things that Quattraro has is a relationship with Sherman. He goes back to the Guardians when John Sherman was, the minority owner for the Guardians, and so you would think that their paths crossed, at least a time or two when they were there together. So there should be a good working relationship. I think this was a critical hire. Listen, I would have loved to have seen Dusty Wathan be hired. It's such a great Kansas City story, but they needed somebody that understands the analytics. You can't have a press conference with John Sherman saying, "Look, this is what we're looking for," and then go not fill it, right? We haven't seen that much change. Dayton Moore's out, Mike Matheny's out, Cal Eldred's out. All the same scouts, all the same development people are there. And if you hired Pedro Grafal from in-house or even a local name, I think that would have been a tough sell to the fans. It'd be really hard to believe that serious change was coming. And let's be clear, they're 26th in pitching, but they're only 24th in hitting. The fact that he's a former hitting coach under Terry Francona with the Guardians, I think is good because they have plenty of work to do, both on offense and defense for this team. So I think they got the number one guy. Now they just need to make it work, and now they need to surround him with a good pitching coach and a good support staff.
All right, guys. Hey, question number 3 here. Should the NCAA tournament be expanded? It's in the news, Marvin. You've led 5 teams there. You know what one looks like. It's a special accomplishment. You want it to be kind of like a cool thing, an elite thing, but obviously it would benefit a team like Kansas City to expand. Where do you sit on this?
Well, it is a delicate balance, right? Because you don't want to get it so watered down that, like, college football to me is a little watered down than all these bowl games, and basically the Power 5 teams can go out there and just buy a bunch of games. You only got to be, I think, 500 teams.
6 and 6. All you gotta, and sometimes 5 and 7 works.
Yeah, wrong message to our kids. I think you got to go earn it. You got to. So I do like the fact that we have expanded it to 68. I don't think a few more teams, maybe 72, whatever makes sense as far as the bracketing is concerned. But I wouldn't want to get it to double it up like some of the conversations have been.
Yep. Sure, and it's expanded, incrementally several years ago from 64 to 68 now. Do you want more?
It doesn't matter what we want, it will expand, right? Like, that's what it's always done. It's inevitable. Once you broke through 64, that was kind of the ceiling. 16's a number you don't want to go through. 32's a number, kind of 48. They stopped there for about 5 minutes on their way to 64. But once we added, there's no going back, and I think you can add even more. Yes, I want more. Do I want to jump right to 128 and double it? Probably not, but I can see a whole nother weekend. I think 96 is a decent number. I don't know that you'll get there right away, but having another weekend of college basketball, and listen, let's be honest, what's it all about? It's about money, and when you're having to do NILs and you've got kids transferring and you got bills to pay at the universities, all of the basketball money is tied up in the NCAA tournament. So the more money you can get for the NCAA tournament, the more money will come to the schools, and that'll be a bigger thing if the Power 5 breaks away, because right now all that basketball money stays with the NCAA. So I think it's inevitable whether we like it or not. It's just a matter of how fast they do it.
Steve, how many are in your tournament
I'm going, like Soren said, I'm going with the 90 number, 96, because it's all about, like Soren said as well, it's all about money, and I think I'm a basketball head, right? So I want to see more games, but does that push, it's about the calendar too, does that push the games out, going further out into the spring? So, I like the 96, but just what does it do to the exactly to the calendar?
I like 64. Let's go backwards. 4 back, okay? I love 64. Grew up with that. And don't give me like a 6-10 Big 12 team. I don't want the like a 28-5 OVC team that didn't win their tournament. Get the underdogs in. All right, guys, stick tight. We return on Sunday Sound Off. The time is yours. We'll see you right after the break.
You're watching Sunday Sound Off with Mick Shaffer.
With that, time's yours. Anyways, with that, time's yours. With that, time's yours. 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 Time's yours.
We are back here on Sunday Sound Off. Marvin, Steve, Soren, and Mick. Coach, do you have like a saying like "time's yours" or some sort of catchphrase like Andy Reid?
Nah, well,
maybe one we can say on TV.
Ears, man. Eyes and ears. That's when I need them to quiet.
Eyes and ears, right there. Okay, sit down in front of the media. You should say eyes and ears every time. I like that. All right, guys. Let's take a look at the questions from Twitter sent in to us. Howard asks, which 2 teams play in the Big 12 championship game and who wins? Steve, how about you take this one?
Howard, my guy, man, here's your answer to that. It's going to be TCU and Kansas State. Look, we saw Kansas State beat the brakes off of OSU.
Easy. That's an actual. All the parts of the car were knocked off. Yeah.
But, if this would have been a question for about 3 weeks ago, I would have said KU would have been in the running. Look, I didn't feed into much of the KU hype, but look, right now I think it's all about Kansas State and TCU.
I think KU's licking its chops seeing Oklahoma State coming in. Like, hey, you didn't get to a bowl game here finally.
Right.
All right, our second time's yours question comes from Kyle, who asks, the first set of college football playoff rankings come out on Tuesday. Do you see any scenario where K-State can crack the top 4 and earn, not this week, but I imagine, but earn a berth this season if they run the table? I mean, I already got 2 losses. That Tulane loss is just kind of hanging off their necks like an albatross there, Soren.
If you read the letter of the question, do you see any scenario? I mean, I guess if I put my Oliver Stone hat on, I can come up with a conspiracy.
Do you have an Oliver Stone hat?
I do.
Okay, it's cool.
It's it's kind of odd, but I don't wear it much. But I can come up with something. Alabama, it's going to require Georgia, Tennessee getting knocked off before they play each other. They've got a game. There's the SEC championship game with Alabama in there. I think most likely you're going to get 2 SEC teams into the championship.
No way.
You're going to get the winner of Michigan and Ohio State in there, and most likely you're going to get Clemson in there. Do I see a scenario? Not really. No, not realistically that K-State can get in there. But they can take a major step in the program. You've got to, make those incremental jumps as a program. And K-State just getting into the discussion will be getting back up to where they were at the peak of the Bill Snyder era, and that would be a step to set them up for years to come.
New Year's Day Bowl, right? That's a feasible goal right there. You play on New Year's Day, one of the big bowls. That's a step right there. All right, our final time's yours. Question comes from Timmy. He asked, what are the advantages and disadvantages of bringing in so many international players? Of course, he's talking to you, Marvin. Is it 9 you guys have, the Roos, this year?
Yeah, we have 9, yeah.
How many languages can you speak now?
And we're up to 10. Team has 10 languages. I'm concentrating on the one that I have right now.
Just master in English?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll worry about French in another lifetime. But, no, I think there are several advantages. Obviously, I wouldn't have brought in so many international guys. But I think the global landscape of basketball has put us in a position now to go beyond the borders, so to speak. The disadvantages are really, really few when you think about the experience and the environment for the domestic kids along with the international kids and just learning so much from each other. The locker room is actually really, really, really fun. The guys go hard. Most of the guys that I bring in are, well, I should say all on this particular team are pretty focused, high character guys with a lot of motivation, a lot of grit, self motivation. So it makes it fun to coach.
Well, we were talking to the Mukeba brothers at your press conference, and they say they talk to each other in French a lot on the floor because they're from Belgium, I believe, right? And then there's someone from the Democratic Republic of Congo, and their parents are from Congo, so they speak the native language there.
Right.
And so there's a lot going on.
It's a whole lot, and that's not to mention the twins from Germany, and Babacar Diallo and Sidi Diallo from Dakar, Senegal. So, yeah, there's a lot going on at practice.
Oh, that's awesome. Hey, practice is turning into scrimmages. We'll turn to games here pretty soon. Tell us about Wednesday night.
Wednesday, we got Langston at home, Langston University, which is actually a very, very good team. They've got a brand new coach. I think he won over 30-something games last year. He's just hired in there. And then they've got several Division I transfers. So the name on their jerseys is probably not going to be indicative of the type of season that they're going to have. So we got to be ready to show up.
Now, the first game at home, they're out of Oklahoma. But you guys go to what? LSU this year? Where else? Illinois?
We got LSU, Illinois, K-State, Oklahoma. I think we got Kentucky, Louisville, Duke.
All that, might as well.
Just the first four.
Throw them all in.
Yeah, we cut back after.
National champs are right down the road as well. All right.
I haven't past Briarcliff and the river, so I wouldn't know about that.
You're staying over here. Nice. All right, we'll be back with our final thoughts next on Sunday Sound Off. After that is another episode of In Depth with Graham Bensinger.
This week, we're with Jason Tatum in his hometown, St. Louis. The NBA star opens up about his difficult upbringing.
I walked up and she just started bawling, and I seen that we had 30 days to get out.
And big plans for his foundation.
One day I would love to open up a school in St. Louis.
Plus, we catch up with him in Boston.
I tell him, your dad is one of the best basketball players in the world, and he think he got it all figured out.
All that's coming up next and In Depth right here on KSHB 41 Sports.
We're back one final time with our final thoughts. We begin with the coach, Marvin Menzies.
Final thoughts, Mick. Thank you for having me, number one.
Coming on.
And I'd just like to make sure I get everybody to come out and support these young men in the program. The Roos are going to be fun to watch. It's going to be exciting style of play. We're gonna make it hard for people to score, and we're going to score easily if things go well and according to plan. So You'll enjoy it.
Swinney Rec, we call it the pouch of ouch around here.
I like the name. As long as we fill it up, I don't care what you call it.
Use it. Hey, thanks for coming in, Coach. We appreciate it. Steve, what's on your mind?
I just want to give a quick shout out to, I know they're getting a lot of love. I want to give a quick shout out to the NWSL Kansas City Current. I know they made it to the championship game and fell short, but just want to, they're doing a lot for young girls in the Kansas City area as far as, being able to be having young girls look up to them. So just want to give a quick shout out.
Soccer town, Kansas City. Who would have thought? From so many angles, this place is being transformed into a soccer city. Steve, thanks. Seren, your final thought.
Yeah, as a girl dad, I echo what Steve said. I know it was a big deal in my house, so congratulations on a great season for the Current. I would offer, this week we got to watch NFL football without our Kansas City Chiefs. It didn't quite look right. Like, if you didn't gain an appreciation for watching Patrick Mahomes play this weekend, then you really didn't watch football. It's something special that's happening here in Kansas City, and it won't last forever, so enjoy it while you got it.
It did feel weird, didn't it? Guys, thanks so much for coming on. We appreciate it. Thanks to you for watching as well. See you next time right here on Sunday Sound Off.